What's happening, everybody?
30. Oh, that's stuff now. Twenty. We'll see if he gets, kind of target that way. I think those four guys are going to go in the top 6, 7, 8 picks, and then after that, it's going to be kind of a scramble.
Thanks, Benjamin. Benjamin Albright, there from KOA, on a little bit of a deep dive on the Broncos. So I'm ready to move on from this Broncos stuff with Russell Wilson. I thought it was worthy of a day or two. As the franchise tag deadline is today, we'll get an opportunity to see what's going to happen next with Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson's going to have a job. He's going to have a starting job. He's going to play for the minimum or close to the minimum. Some team is going to get Russell Wilson, not have to spend any money. Not have to spend any money and use all that money to get better players. Sounds like a good formula. He's 35 years old. Some people think he's washed. Other people think he has some time left. The only thing I've been defending Russell Wilson with is his character and what he's done his entire life. For those who want to judge him pre-Sierra, post getting married to Sierra, all that, what he is as a dad, you have no idea what type of dad he is. You have no idea what he does for charity work. It's all good. I think it's all really good, what he does for charity work and all that. He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year, and he's a borderline Hall of Famer. If his career ended today, he's got enough playoff wins and stats and big moments to be in consideration for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If you were Russell Wilson, wouldn't you be pretty pissed off right now? Wouldn't you be pretty pissed off right now if you were Russell Wilson? Wouldn't you be a little bit humbled? Wouldn't you be in the gym? He looks pretty swole to me. The first thing I'd have him do is lose 10 pounds. I'd say drop 10 pounds. You got too much muscle. Get out there and work out with receivers and be ready to go. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks up close work really hard, and I think he's one of those guys who work really hard. But this is a moment in time where you cannot compare Russell Wilson to Jim Plunkett, who's a great comparison. Great comparison to Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett never had these stats, not even close to it, but Jim Plunkett, you know how many people would have said if Jim Plunkett played today after New England and San Francisco that he's washed? He's done. He was done. Quick reminder, he was finished until the great Al Davis said to him, Jim, I'm going to bring you in and have you rest and have you ready. And then Jim Plunkett was called on after the Dan Pastorini injury, called on with Mark Wilson looking over his shoulder. Plunkett called on to become one of the great Raiders of all time. So how could I compare Russell Wilson to Jim Plunkett? Easily. Plunkett's got 2 Super Bowls, a Super Bowl MVP. Russell Wilson's got 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl victory. And I think they're both great quarterbacks. It took Jim a while to get going again. And then Jim Plunkett, later in his career, became an icon for this organization. And there's been other players who have also become icons for this organization who got their start elsewhere. I would rather have Jaden Daniels. And we'll do the JT list tomorrow. Because we got to give, Bob, we got to give the websites their red meat. Okay. So I got to give them their red meat tomorrow. We'll have the JT top 5 quarterbacks that I would like in order to play for the Raiders, including Aiden O'Connell. Because, again, I want to make sure we're not stepping over any line with Aiden O'Connell. We're doing our job here. Aiden O'Connell's on the team. He's not going anywhere. He's either going to start or be the backup. And other than that, we'll bring up some other quarterbacks that we feel are good. I got the YouTube, Bobby, going on the iPad just for a little bit here because my son's coming back from Dallas tomorrow on business and giving him the credit card to go buy a new computer. It's like you can buy lunch and a new computer for Dad and set it up here. So we're trying to make this happen. Jarrett Bell from USA Today is going to join us here in a little bit. And then next hour, we're going to have Lights, Camera, Jackson Murphy on the Academy Awards. Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress. We'll go through all the nominees. I love movies. I love the Oscars. I love to debate who's going to win these awards. We do it one time a year. We'll do it in about 45 minutes on the flagship of the Silver and Black. All right, let's see how this is working. All right, I don't know how to get the chat going on the iPad, which is interesting.
No idea. Do you want these? You all set with these?
Yeah, yeah.
Keep still my phone to that second.
Mhm.
Get 'em back on.
Yep. Yeah, look at this. Filters. Who was that, the chat? There we go. Carla, what do you think of the iPad look compared to the PC look? Raiders. How do I react to this? Give us some good news. I got no good news. I told you we're in the dead zone, man. There's nothing going on right now. This is JT for Grimaldi's New York style coal-fired brick oven
Raider
pizza
Nation,
full
what's
of
your name?
traditions in the Valley, Summerlin, and Boca Raton. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had.
I will get you up as soon as the commercial comes. Give me about 3 minutes. Okay?
Isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive
On call
health.
66.
All right.
Fiber called Phillies. The gelling action of this special fiber.
I kind of like the iPad. I like the lighting on this. I think this works pretty good.
Promoting digestive health.
But I can't really, I know a lot of people aren't going to be able to hear it. We're just in the experimental stage of what's going on here, everybody, trying to figure it out. It's kind of a pain in the ass because, you know, I'm just trying to figure out how to make this thing work. Yeah, there we go. I got the live chat on my phone. There you go. Lorenzo says, go get Russell Wilson at the minimum. Terrence V. Roker, give us some good news. Herman Munster, Raiders. Glenn, thank you for going live.
We are here to help. The Vegas lawyer's background of former judges and vast experience with the Nevada criminal system gives you skilled representation.
The Vegas lawyers, a division of Paul Patta Law, where compassion and strong legal representation come together. Go to thevegaslawyers.com.
Henderson is where the hoop is. Get tickets now for the 2020
Is that Tim Neverett voicing the spot?
Yeah.
Nice.
March 13th through the 16th at the Donald Rose Center in Henderson, Nevada. See the Midwest's top teams duel in the desert for a conference crown and an automatic berth in the NCAA tournament. Get tickets today.
This is what I'm looking at here on my chat.
Midwest, or call
That's what I got.
706-645-4259.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like it?
What quarterback do you want me to start talking about as soon as I come out of this break? Which quarterback do you like me to jump in with?
Caregiver of your choice.
I'll show you how we rant.
In fact, Freedom Care now offers instant pay. Your caregiver can get paid instantly as soon as their shift is done. Call 702-766-6643 and talk to Freedom Care about having your friends or family take care of you and get paid to do it with instant payments. No more worrying about getting care from an aid at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 702-766-6643. That's 702-766-6643 to enroll in this program now. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly as soon as their shift is done.
Costco coming
Enroll
back.
now by calling 702-766-6643. That's 702-766-6643 or go to freedomcare.com.
We got 66 holding.
Oh, lunch today. It's supposed to go out tonight with the wife. Bounce around town. She's got a friend in town. Had some red wine last night.
Here we go.
Some Grimaldi's pizza.
Brought to you by Local 872, your workforce solution.
Yeah, market, I don't know, but I do know there's a lot of backs that are available this year. So I guess it remains to be seen, you know, what other people think, but talent will definitely.
Turn it up. L.A. Woman by Jim Morrison. God, what a great album. What great music. More doors, please. JT, back brought to you by Grimaldi's. My wife had one of her childhood friends over with her husband last night. We had Grimaldi's. My son picked it up. We had a great evening. Brooklyn Bridge pizza, salad, all of it at the house. Grimaldi's, best pizza I ever had. I asked my wife's friends, how do you like the pizza? She said, it's unbelievable. I can't believe it. I said, yes, it's Grimaldi's. The best pizza I ever had. We're up on YouTube Live. If you go to YouTube, JT the Brick YT, you can get into the chat. Where does Russell Wilson go? I'm getting a lot of that. Glenn Wheeler says, JT, talk about Caleb Williams and him not wanting to do any of the combine physicals. That is fake news. He didn't have to do any physicals or share his medicals because he's going number one. It's pretty easy. He's going to share his medicals with the Chicago Bears and the Washington Commanders and nobody else. Doesn't have to. When you're that lucky to go number one overall, you don't have to share squat with anybody. Now, Bo Nix and Michael Penix, especially Michael Penix. Michael Penix has got to walk around with an x-ray machine. Hey, look at this. Here's my shoulder. Here's my knee. I was hurt. I was hurt here. I was hurt at Indiana. I was hurt at Washington. He's got to share his medicals. I like what Caleb Williams did. Caleb Williams said that I don't have to do anything. I'm the best player. I'm going number one. He was very cordial. He was the last person to leave the combine. They said after the combine ended, Roma Duze stayed after for a little extra credit. But after the combine ended, that he went around and shook everybody's hands who worked on the field. Shook their all hands. Caleb Williams is a good dude. Is he a little bit, I don't know, is he a little bit cocky? Yeah, he's going to be an NFL quarterback. I hope he is. Caleb Williams doesn't have to share anything with anybody. He's going number one. He's a lock. So he just has to share with the Bears. And if you really want him, then maybe he'll share you his medicals too. But you have to prove you're going to trade up to get him. Raiders 66 in Vegas. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good point. Oh, the Broncos stink. The Broncos stink right now. They stink. This could be the biggest blessing in disguise for Russell Wilson. He gets away from Sean Payton, who doesn't like him, and he goes somewhere, and it's probably not going to be the Raiders, but he's going to go somewhere where the coach adores him and wants to win, and the coach wants to save his job. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks, 66. Appreciate it. That's a really interesting point you bring up. If the Raiders get a veteran quarterback, say they get a veteran like Kirk Cousins, or they get a veteran Russell Wilson, I don't think they need to draft a quarterback. I don't. I don't think they need to draft a quarterback and wait and bench him. If Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins come here, I'd have Aiden O'Connell as the backup. I don't need to see another backup. I don't care about Bo Nix or Michael Penix on top of Aiden O'Connell. Now, if the Raiders don't get Russell Wilson and they're not able to get Kirk Cousins, then I would draft a quarterback and give up a lot to go draft one, and then I would have that player initially start behind Aiden O'Connell, but be ready to overtake Aiden when his time is right. I think that's rational, and that's the right thing to do there. As Raider 66 said, it would be great to get a quarterback before the draft and use that 13th pick on the Texas defensive tackle and let him start and play every down. I like that. That'd be really nice, but it's complicated. Go check us out on YouTube. Become a subscriber. JT the Brick YT. Hour number 2, my Oscar nominations. They're out. Who am I picking to win all the categories at the Oscars? That's coming up in about 40 minutes. All right, man. Jump into the chat here. Let me jump in and answer some questions and see what's going on. Yeah, Glenn, you're not going to hear the callers here, man. We're in a radio station here, man. We got to plug the board in. I can't do that into the iPad and the equipment I have. So if you're going to tune in, it's going to be for the monologue, and we'll figure this out soon enough. Sorry about that. So, yeah, good.
On December 5th, Jose hit 4 fours, clearing his gambler's bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for over $26,000. Jose hit big, and so can you with Gambler's Bonus. It's why you play the game.
Nick here with Stefano's. Ditch the burgers and fries and go Greek. Stefano's Greek and Mediterranean Grill with 4 valley-wide locations. Stefano's delicious menu includes the best tasting gyros, kebabs, shawarmas, and tastiest Greek salads, topped with our house-made dressings. Make sure to try our tzatziki and garlic sauce as well. Check out our newest location on Blue Diamond Indicator. Order online or off the app. StefanosLV.com. Stefanos since 1998. Real food, real fast, real healthy.
Were you hurt in a crash? Call Sam and Ash.
I don't remember this much tension from Raider fans or football fans on the quarterback. I mean, I don't remember a time, probably going back to Jamarcus Russell, where fans were pretty excited about getting Jamarcus Russell number one. Remember, if you're a Raider fan, you've been around that long. When Jamarcus Russell went one, a lot of people were happy. Then he held out. Then he put on weight, and then he just never became a good player. It was a shame. Terrell Pryor, a couple of Raider fans were excited. Terrell Pryor, if he was coming out of the draft now from Ohio State, would just be like J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix. Everybody would want him too because of his ability to run. I just want to see a quarterback, everybody, that can run the football on critical downs. Not saying Aiden O'Connell can't move around in the pocket, but I think the option needs to be someone on 3rd and 8 that can tuck and run and pick up 9 yards like Mahomes, and that's hard to do. Cisco had high hope for Andrew Walter. He was a pretty good athlete. You know, there was a lot of quarterbacks here over the last couple of years that were athletic. Remember when Kerry Collins came to the Raiders? He went to the Super Bowl with the Giants. He was Carson Palmer. Remember him? You guys remember Connor Cook? Connor Cook was a big guy. How about, were you around from Matt Schaub? So all quarterbacks I was with the organization for that had high hopes. Mav says, greetings from Centennial Hills, formerly Inspirada. Centennial Hills.
Join the club with Sierra Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Keeping your AC and plumbing systems healthy is the key to increased comfort, efficiency.
Yeah, Pig 76, Mr. Davis. You know, remember Jamarcus Russell was the last quarterback class that there was no cap on what you can make as a rookie. Now there's a rookie cap. So Mr. Davis obviously wanted to structure that contract at a better rate and not give him more money. Turned out to be a bust. All right, B. Thomas Howard from West Texas. He was a good dude, man. I was friends with him. I loved watching him play. I loved his motor. Cisco, I thought Jeff George was going to turn his career around. Jeff George. Is there anybody you remember that had even close to the arm of Jeff George? Man, that guy could throw the football. He had a beautiful deep ball. Oh, man, he could.
All right, here we go.
Probably break about. I'll probably go to Jared at some point. Yeah, have that.
Welcome back to the JT Brick Show, brought to you by Grimaldi's Pizzeria, home of the famous New York
You got the
style
throw.
coal-fired brick oven pizza.
It's time for JT the Brick. Reset the show. This is the home of the Raider Nation, where Raider fans have a voice on it. I love putting fans on the radio. I love hearing emotion. I love hearing passion. I love hearing people, if they're critical or they're happy, whatever there is, I like to hear people to know I'm on the radio, not guess if they're listening and wondering if they're out there. And hopefully I bring that to the radio show. Fandom, fandemonium, getting people excited about sports. JT the Brick. I care about going to games and winning games. That is it. I like to pause, have a sip of water, and talk to a Raider fan, either in the chat or over the phone, who has something smarter to say than I do, which many do. More knowledgeable fans than me, I admit that. More passionate fans than me, yeah, there's a number of them. But I'm the gateway to getting everybody in here to let it rip. There's never an off season in the Raider Nation. Got it? That's the show.
And now.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the show. Thanks for listening, everybody, in the studios of Raider Nation Radio. Today's franchise tag day. If you got a player you want to tag, you got to do it today. The deadline, Adam Schefter reports the Dolphins are releasing starting linebacker Jerome Baker. The two sides discussed a restructured contract but couldn't reach an agreement. The Dolphins left the door open for him to come back. Well, the Dolphins are losing a lot of players. They're going to have to pay Tua. Adam Schefter 9 minutes ago. The Jaguars officially placed their franchise tag on defensive end Josh Allen. Allen had a Jaguar franchise record, 17 and a half sacks. Pretty good there. That's pretty good. The Colts, Adam Schefter an hour ago, officially are placing their franchise tag on wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr., who had a career-high 109 receptions and 1,152 yards this past offseason. That's a big deal. It's a big deal when you can put up numbers like that. So when you look at the deals, the tags that came in, Brian Burns from the Panthers, Jalen Johnson from the Bears, Justin Matabuke from the Ravens, Michael Pittman with the Colts, and Antoine Winfield Jr. with the Bucks. Where's Josh Jacobs getting tagged? Well, Josh didn't have a good year last year. They're not offering the tag with him and rewarding him, I guess, but they're trying to put together a deal that makes sense to Tom Telesco, Antonio Pierce, and the Raiders overall. I think they'll get it done. I don't get in front of Josh's money. Don't get in front of his money at all. I wish Josh well, and I hope he's back because he's one of the great Raider running backs of all time. Seen every game he's played. He's a hell of a player. But they got to get other help on the offensive line. It's going to be mandatory for them to get help on the franchise with the franchise tag in years to come. They're not going to use the tag this time around. So any shocking news that's out there today, nothing crazy overall, but I like the way what's happening here for the Patriots. Patriots are going to be interesting. They're there, Bobby, your team at the number 3 pick overall. They could like J.J. McCarthy. They could like Jaden Daniels. They have the transition tag on free agent safety Kyle Duggar, keeping him off the market and giving him any chance to match offers that are there. And the Bears did a great job putting the franchise tag on star cornerback Jalen Johnson, and that tag number is $19.8 million. $19.8 million. The Seahawks, according to Tom Pelissero, releasing Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. So the Seahawks are trying to move some money around here. What are they going to do going forward? So a lot of deals coming down the pipe today. If they don't happen here during the show, the recap will come through Q. And Q's really good at all that and keeping an eye on the numbers. The Russell Wilson story, I think, is going to have steam for maybe another day or two. And then I think the teams are going to wait on Russell Wilson. They got time. We got time here before the draft. I think the bidding war with Russell Wilson is going to come down to Atlanta and obviously Pittsburgh. And there's a big smoke screen coming from Pittsburgh now, everybody. Yeah. Pittsburgh's starting to tell everybody that they're good. They're all right with Kenny Pickett, which they could be right. He was a high draft pick. He's a young player. Why throw in the towel on someone young who had some upside there? But Mike Tomlin wants to win. And I think the best way for him to win is going to be able to go out and get a veteran quarterback. And no movement on Justin Fields. None. No movement at all on Justin Fields and what's going to happen with him. It seems like the market is quieting down. I think the best fit for Justin Fields is the same fit for Russell Wilson, Atlanta. Atlanta's got good players on both sides of the ball and a pretty good offense. They play indoors in a dome. Weather is not an issue. Ask Baker Mayfield how he likes playing in the warm weather at Tampa. That could be a problem with Jaden Daniels from ASU and LSU. What happens if Jaden Daniels doesn't want to play in New England at Foxborough, the old Sullivan Stadium, outside, cold, man? A lot of young quarterbacks. Caleb Williams. What happens if Caleb doesn't want to play in snowstorms in Chicago? Not everybody can play in Vegas and play in a dome. A lot of news there that we're getting to. Jason Kelsey at his retirement. That retirement was yesterday. We'll get to some of that sound a little bit later on in the show. UNLV plays San Diego State tonight. I don't have a UNLV audience because I don't put a lot of time into UNLV. I put it into the Raiders and the Golden Knights. I'd love to talk UNLV with you today. I'm biased. I like Kevin Kruger a lot. I'm good friends with Lon Kruger. I want to see Kevin win. He's got to win some games here down the stretch, but the run that UNLV basketball's been on puts them in a nice spot with momentum heading into these final two games and the opportunity to shock the world, and win the Mountain West, which is going to be hard to do, but the way they're playing as good as anybody. Wouldn't it be nice to see Kevin Kruger win tonight against San Diego State? Bobby, I'm very interested in the crowd size tonight. You know why? There's no Knights game at home, correct?
Right?
No Aviators at home?
Oh, no,
There's no Raiders at home?
absolutely not.
Anything else going on? I mean, there might be volleyball in town or the G League. I don't know what's going on tonight. There is no excuse. I'll be over there. We got a dinner afterwards at Virgin. I'm going to go for a little bit, and what I mean by a little bit, I'm supposed to stay, but wife and I have something lined up with friends in town, but I'm going to peek my head in to see the Rebels tonight, and hopefully they can win that game. Huge opportunity here. If the Rebels can't draw tonight, that's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Tuesday night. Get those college kids off their blank and get them into the building. Buy them a Coke and a dog, a box of popcorn. Let them come in and sit wherever they want. Not on Gucci Row, but, the seats that are taken. Invite the student athletes to come here. How in God's name are teams from Boise and Wyoming having bigger crowds than UNLV, the home of Larry Johnson, Stacey Ogden, Jerry Tarkanian? I could see if the Knights were playing tonight. I could see it. If the Raiders had some fan fest. I get it. It's wide open tonight to go hang out with Kevin Kruger and go root on UNLV basketball. UNLV football's underway. Bobby, I went back and saw that video of Coach Odom on the bull. That was dangerous, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, he's wearing a cage, a helmet over his head. If he didn't have a helmet on, he could have died. The bull threw its horns back and cracked him. And he went to the ground and got up and was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That took a lot of balls to go raise money and sell tickets. Congratulations to Coach Odom. Let's try to get him on the show. I want to talk to Steve Stallworth and the crew over at South Point and find out what that night was about and how much money they raised. Overall, I said earlier in the show tonight, as we wait on Jarrett Bell, who's going to join us here momentarily, I said earlier that I spoke today with kids and students in the video department and audio department at Bonanza High School. So I spoke to the first and second period, or the second and third period. School starts at 7 a.m. It gets out at 1:19. How the hell I don't know how these kids get out of bed and go to school that early. I was shocked.
Stay up all night.
Yeah, well, so my kids, kids stay up all night and go to school, but I was very inspired talking to the kids there. And coming up here in about, let me double check. Yeah, in about 10, 20 minutes, we're going to have Jackson Murphy on, the film critic. He's fantastic. We're going to go through Oscar picks, and that will come. I'll be off the live stream coming up here shortly if you want to check it out. Go check it out. Jackson Murphy in 10 or 15 minutes. Poor Things, the movie. My best friend thought it was a masterpiece. Oppenheimer. I thought it was great. And you won't believe, Bobby, how many people loved Barbie. Men and women loved it. Didn't like it, loved it. And how much money that movie made. I still have my man card. I did not see the movie. I don't know why. I just couldn't get myself up to going into a theater to see Barbie. So my man card is still in my wallet and looking good. All right, Jared Bell from USA Today, one of the premier NFL insiders out there. And Jared, thanks for a few minutes. First thing I want to talk about, the most important thing, the passing of your friend Chris Mortensen, the impact that he had with you. I don't know how tight a friend you were, but everyone seemed to love him. And what a great reporter and insider he was.
Yeah, I'm honored to say that he was a friend of mine. And, I did
It's 11 and a half.
ESPN work a few years ago.
23 will be back.
And Mort was part of that. And then started, having to deal with his health issues. But, man, I love him. And I moved to Atlanta probably about 2.5 years ago, and I remember calling him.